we've got a bunch of people on from all over, it looks like as far as New Zealand. We've got Canada and everybody all over. So I'm Kendra. You guys probably all know me. I want to introduce you to my friend Kari Bastyr. Now, Kari is a gluten detection trainer. She's also a canine behaviorist and a dog nutritionist. She has been training dogs forever and ever. And I wanted to share, Carrie and I have become good friends. We actually met via Instagram. And I wanted to share first kind of how we met, because Carrie is the reason why I have a trained service dog today, a gluten detection dog.
Oh
So
my
when
God,
I was
Birdie.
Oh, and that's Birdie, her gluten detection dog. So Birdie
It's
is,
dinner time.
oh, I know it's a tough time. So what happened was I started out and I wanted to train a gluten detection dog, and it was the pandemic and I was excited about training a gluten detection dog. So I did research and found a puppy and kind of called around and go, yeah, I found some different gluten detection trainers, but I didn't have anything locked and loaded. And I found like a local trainer that said she trained service
Okay.
dogs and said she was training a gluten detection dog. And I thought, this is perfect. Great. She knows. And she had celiac disease. So I thought, this is perfect. So I was working with her, but I didn't ask a lot of questions. I just was like, oh, she's a service dog trainer. And so then she was telling me stuff to do. And I'm like, I don't think that doesn't seem right, but I've never trained a service dog before. So I was like, I guess that must be the right. And it was not good advice. And then she had me put flour in jars and give it to Suki to cue a behavior. And and then I posted videos because I was so proud of how cute my little puppy at 10 weeks old was. He was pawing this jar of flour, and the flour was going everywhere. But I was super proud of what she did. And then I got this message, this DM from Carrie that was like, you are going to kill yourself. You are doing something very dangerous. Your health is at serious risk. You need to work with a professional who is trained in gluten detection. So because of that, I started working with the gluten detection trainer, and Carrie was able to point me in the right direction, and she is a gluten detection trainer. So, but one thing I think that taught me
I was
that
not at the time.
you weren't at the time.
Right.
You weren't
I
at
am
the
now.
time, but now you are. But I think one of the things that taught me was that not every trainer can be a gluten detection trainer. And now, since I have been doing this and having this platform, I unfortunately hear the horror stories. Like, it's pretty bad. I hear horror stories all the time from people. I mean, I had somebody this week sharing her story, and it is heartbreaking how people are taken advantage of by unscrupulous trainers. So that's why I like to do these lives and have this stuff and talk, and we're working on some more resources that help people make decisions properly. But Carrie, I want to start off kind of like how, like, you as a gluten detection trainer. So when we met, you were just a regular trainer, but as a regular trainer, why didn't you just go ahead and train your dog yourself? Because obviously you have, you know, decades of experience and a master's degree in animal health and canine behavior and all the certifications. Why didn't you just just do it yourself?
Because I didn't know what to do. I just, it's so, service dog training and allergen detection training is a very specialized. My business is working with dogs with anxiety and aggression. Yes, I'm a professional. Yes, I've been doing this over 30 years. But when I thought about getting a gluten detection dog and starting this process, I didn't know what I didn't know, and I didn't know anything. So I started, um, watching some webinars out there and just gathering information. And first of all, I didn't want to get sick. I didn't want to do it wrong, and I definitely didn't want to get a puppy and end up messing up the puppy for odor detection. So it was really important to me to find a professional, a gluten detection trainer. There's very few reputable gluten detection trainers out there, I would say. I mean, it's fairly new as far as allergen detection. So yeah, I didn't know anything, and I knew it was important that I learn properly how to do it. Given my background and my experience and my education, I'm not new to taking classes and, finding a mentor. So yeah, and I've heard horror stories too. I mean, I hear horror stories about everything about with dogs, but when it comes to having celiac disease or, gluten intolerance, and you are looking at getting a gluten detection dog, especially if you don't have background in just regular dog training, it's important to find a professional.
Hmm.
I think, I firmly believe that. I mean, look at your situation.
I mean, I 100% agree. I think from my side, the thing that surprised me the most going into it, I was like, yeah, you just train the dog, right? The
Oh,
dog is a small percentage of the thing. Like that
yeah.
task is small. The handler is at least 50% of the equation. And
Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
that was the thing. There was so much stuff that even working with the trainer and having weekly sessions, there were things I was doing wrong.
Oh,
Where I
yeah.
would, you're moving, you moved forward, you did this,
Subtle
you
signals.
and
Yeah,
and and so then Suki is super smart. She's reacting to me. If I was doing that on my own or with someone who didn't know what they were doing, I wouldn't have as well of a trained dog as I have today.
right.
So I think that was super surprising to me because I thought, well, it's just training a dog. Like I've trained a dog before.
Yeah.
I've had dogs my whole life. And and then the other part is I think the temperament and things like that. One of the things we get a lot of questions about, I know people want to know like how to train and how to do it, but I think starting with like the dog, I get tons and tons of questions about like what kind of dog. And I just for this live, I had two different people. They weren't the same person ask if they could train, a 5-year-old, one's a 5-year-old dog, one's a 7-year-old dog, one's a 4-year-old dog. So a variety of different like people wanting to know how can they train their dog at whatever age, and how does that work? So maybe you could talk to that of what you look for in dogs and kind of what that answering those questions.
Well, this is a very complicated answer with lots of components, but I'm just going to kind of give you the quick and dirty, as I usually say. Um, an older dog, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old dog, yes, you can definitely teach that dog how to sniff out gluten.
Hmm.
But a couple things to consider. Training a service dog, it can take about 2 years, just depending on the dog, but let's say roughly 2 years. So you start training a 7-year-old dog, and it's a lot of work, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of hours, a
Hmm.
couple hours a day. It's not just odor detection, it's also public access where you have to take your dog out places and whatever.
Hmm.
So you start training at 7 years old, then your dog's 9 years old. Pretty soon your dog's going to have to retire. Service dogs don't work until they're 14, 15, 16 years old. Um, as dogs get older, their motivation and drive decreases, depending on their health. That can have an effect. So in my professional opinion, and having, trained two of my own, one was a service dog wash, a prospect that I had to wash, unfortunately, because of health issues. But, and then being part of a team training other dogs, I can safely say, or, strongly say that it is potentially better. Trying to be careful with my words, but I think you're gonna be better off in the long run to start with a puppy. And we can go into the whys later, but I mean, obviously age is one thing, and being able to start with early scent introduction, when it's a neonate, working with, reputable breeder. I'm not opposed to going with a rescue dog. I have lots of experience with rescue dogs, fearful and anxious rescue dogs. So, I don't necessarily recommend a rescue, but it's, I'm not going to put it off the table, of course, but, and then, dogs go through developmental fear periods. So puppies do. And so we have to work through those developmental fear periods together to come out the other side with a older puppy or an adolescent dog that has a really strong resilience and is, super strong in public access. I would say yes, the odor detection, the gluten detection is huge, but even equally as important is the public access. Your dog needs to be able to be in public. And, like I take Birdie on airplanes. People don't even know she's there. They don't know Suki's on the airplane.
No.
You guys have all seen dogs on airplanes that are like jumping at the windows and barking and, all that. That's not a service dog. That is well trained in public access. So I'm sorry, that wasn't the quick and
No,
dirty, but
but
basically,
I think that's a really good point, and I think that was one of the things that I realized. My last dog was a rescue, not a service dog, just a pet. And I was thinking about it after, and I mean, obviously he was really old by the time I got Suki, which was kind of one of the, he's
yeah,
like 16. But I thought him as when I got him at a year, so I got him very young, but he had tons of issues. And just thinking about the level of what is required of Suki, it would have been really hard to train him. And he was very good. Like I would take him to work with me and stuff because I worked in a small office, but he still couldn't have handled a lot of the things that
yeah,
she handled because we practiced with it early on. And then I think the other part too for me, because Suki was trained during the pandemic, there was a lot of stuff, there were holes in my training because there was stuff I couldn't train with her early on or do as much of. Restaurants were closed for, takeout on, so all those kind of things. We weren't really
yeah,
going to grocery stores on the regular. So I look at that, and then I've had to go back and rework on some of those skills even as a fully trained dog
Birdie
because
has too.
there was some fear factor there. I also do look at the fact that I think things that I didn't do with Suki because I didn't know, and I got her just on my own, and I didn't really start training gluten detection until she was like officially like 6 months old. So some of that early scent introduction we didn't do, and I look at the difference between Birdie's excitement and because Birdie was conditioned as a,
From
I mean, as a
3 days old. She started imprinting to gluten when she was 3 days old.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. So I think it's a long process and things like that. So that I think good response. A lot of questions on, how do you train? Uh, you talked about the process. You are a gluten detection trainer. People can train with you. How do you train people for gluten detection? How does that process work if they want to get in touch with you?
Well, just reach out to me. Just email me. I can put it in the comments. But you know, if you have a younger dog, like a younger puppy, certainly open to starting now or soon. But if you don't have a puppy or you don't know what you don't know, and you're just starting this, certainly I can help with those questions. I just took on a client who she has a 14-week-old puppy who I watched videos of. I've done a temperament test and a gluten odor test to make sure. I mean, you have to make sure your puppy is interested in gluten, because
Hmm.
if your puppy doesn't want to have want to have anything to do with gluten, then that puppy isn't going to be a good prospect. But so that's certainly possible. Even just a little bit of an older puppy, but the older puppy you get and into adolescence, I mean, certainly under 2 years old is something to consider, but it all depends on the temperament. It depends on the drive. Your puppy, your dog needs to have the motivation to work these problems and to want to smell. And Suki and Birdie have both had times where they're like, I'm not, I'm not going to smell that today. And
Yeah.
so, or, you know, like there's a certain element in the training where they get stuck. You have to go back and, you know, teach them, like reteach them. It's just, there's a lot of stops and starts,
Yeah.
but, you know, and working through those developmental stages too. But yeah, just reach out to me. I have finished an internship or finishing up an internship with Dawn from Willow Service Dogs. She's the queen bee of gluten detection. She had the first gluten detection dog, Willow, a German Shepherd Pointer, which she would not recommend a GSP. I would not recommend a GSP.
No.
But yeah, so just reach out to me. Here, I'll put my email in the comments right
And
now.
and as you're doing that, so the way the training works is you train over Zoom,
Yes,
right? So it's all
it's
remote,
all virtual.
and so you do sessions on a weekly basis with people with their dogs and watch what they're doing, and then they're training every day at home,
Yes,
right?
we
Yeah.
meet twice a
Or
week.
mhm.
Um, for 45 minutes to an hour, just depending. When the puppies are babies, they definitely don't last that long during a session.
Yeah.
But then you send me videos throughout the week that I can watch, and this is how Dawn does it. And she's taught me really well. She's a really great person and a really great trainer. So I'm, you know, her systems aren't broken, so I'm gonna use her systems, or I'm using her systems,
Yeah.
which are different from my private practice. But anyway, so yeah, we work over Zoom. It's super fun. I train all positively. It's, you know, reward based and marker based. So I don't know. I think it's really fun.
It's a great process. So yeah, so big thing, positive reinforcement,
Yes.
and working on it. But it's not something where you're going to just the dog's going to be done. It's a 2-year process, right?
Yeah. It's a long process.
Yeah, yeah, of regular things. One question we had here. Oh, somebody was asking. Is in terms of the cost. What does it cost? Like the range of how that
You
works? I mean,
know,
because it
it's
varies, right?
expensive. It does. It varies. For baby puppies, I recommend at least twice a week. So that's 8 times a month. 8 times a month is $500. It evens out to be like 62 something,
Mm,
for an hour. And then of course the videos in between. So you get me in between
yeah.
too. And then any resources, links, you know, you have to have to buy the I want to say props. That's not what that's not the word, but the oh my gosh.
Well, you need
Sorry
clickers,
guys.
you need
Products
gear, and I mean
and
that's the other
yeah.
part of about and things like I have, you have jars here that you have
Yeah.
your
Jars and
controls and
tins
stuff in
and
it.
bowls and yep,
I mean, having a service dog is an expensive
it
thing.
is.
It's a big thing. I think training yourself takes some of it out of the equation, but you're doing a lot of the work. But you still have the cost of the dog. You have, all
Mm.
the food. You have to feed good quality nutrition, super important.
Gluten-free food,
Gluten-free
everybody.
food, lots of treats.
Yeah, gluten-free
Um,
treats.
Booties, now in the summer especially, booties are a big deal. You have to protect their paws.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that I have on here is that Suki's been hurt, so I have a lot of vet bills right
Yeah.
now. I have paid for but thankfully I pay for insurance. So I'm
Yeah.
getting my checks back from the insurance. So all that stuff adds up.
A
So
lot of
it's
pet insurance offers a discount for service dogs though, so make sure that you ask. Mine does.
I've not asked,
Oh, well,
so I
there
need to
you go. Ask.
maybe I can get a discount. Wow. I have a 4-year-old dog that I've been paying and I never said about well, look at all this money that I might be
There you
saving.
go. It's not
Um,
that much money, but still.
yeah, it's probably 10%, right? What Oh, here is a really good question. What was different about learning gluten detection versus other areas of dog training? So
Oh
how's
my
that different?
gosh. I mean, learning heart surgery versus how to work on a car, like just it's completely different. I mean, odor detection to me was such a foreign thing. I've never done like nose work with my dogs. You know, my like I said, my anxiety or my specialty is anxiety and aggression. So it was
Mm-hmm.
completely different. It was a whole new mindset. And I mean, that's why, you know, I'm working with a mentor. But I mean, here's another thing too. This plays into the question. Um, if so, the dog training part, the service training, service dog training, gluten detection is, you know, is what you would be potentially hiring a service dog trainer for. But we also work on behavior and manners, impulse control, public access. They have to pass a public access test and a home test, a home, you know, behavior test. That's all things that we work on too on our Zooms, on our lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So I help you. That part of it I already knew for the most part. There's a couple things that I learned, like tuck in. I never did that with my clients. So tuck in is like under near the restaurant, your dog has to tuck in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I taught Birdie very early on. I knew I would be traveling with her a lot. So I taught her with a chair and a wall how to tuck in next to a wall because we always sit in the bulkhead. So she knows to go in the
The
bulkhead and
airplane.
just lay down next to the wall. I started doing that in like when she was 10 weeks old.
So you're kind of doing both at the
Yep,
same time. You're doing
you are.
behavioral training, like as a little baby puppy, you're doing a lot more behavioral early on of that kind of stuff because they have to know how to respond to the clicker, right? And how to do
Yeah,
that
you have to charge the
rewards-based training.
clicker.
And then
Although
you're
you don't have to
also,
use a clicker.
you don't, you
Um,
can just do a
yeah, you
word.
can do a verbal marker, but you can use a clicker. I
Yeah.
started clicker training and Birdie's fully clicker trained, but I don't use it for her odor anymore. I don't need
Yeah,
to.
I don't.
Um, so I just use a verbal marker. But anyway, yeah, I mean, dogs love to clicker train. So
Yeah, yeah. So
if you want to.
you do all that starting out, and then you're imprinting them on the odor early on, and then
Mhm.
you start working on gluten and kind of working your way up to where you get it. Because at this
Yep.
point, you never are going to go. I think one of the things that people are like, they see my videos of Suki like doing a plate at the restaurant.
Oh gosh,
That's
that's
very far in the process.
thousands and
That's
thousands and thousands of hours.
yeah. And even packages. I mean, you're
Mhm.
doing gluten and nothing for a really long time.
Well, each lesson we're doing odor and
Yeah.
behavior. So we start with odor, then we do, you know, like a search as a reward, and then we do, you know, like fetch and platform training and impulse control training and relaxation training, and of course, you know, working on sit and down and all that. So yeah, the lessons are really comprehensive.
I think one thing that would be helpful for that I think is helpful to talk about is that, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out
Mhm.
too. And so, I mean, the reality of that. So, and I know you had a failed service dog. And I'd love to, you know, just share that because I like to make sure we're grounding in the reality too of maybe
Yeah,
things that you go, I would have done something different in
yeah.
this
I
instance.
mean,
Yeah.
I don't regret getting her, but I like I said, I didn't know what I didn't know, and multiple people told me, you know, you probably should start with, you know, a puppy from, you know, a breeder, and but I wanted to get a rescue because the heart wants what the heart wants. And she actually is a lovely odor dog. She loves gluten and she knows her alerts. But when she's about a year old, I found out she has a congenital liver defect, and her life expectancy is potentially not going to be as long as, you know, I want. So I decided to wash her, um, and get a puppy from a breeder. Birdie's my very first puppy from a breeder. She's my 13th dog as an adult, so I've had 12 rescues, all with different types of issues and personalities. And even Paisley was a rescue, my last lab. Anyways, so yeah, Turtle, she's what we call a service dog wash. She did develop some anxiety over time too, and she probably would not have done public access. She would have been if I had continued, she'd be a great at home. But it's the reality of the situation, you just don't know
Yeah.
if your dog's gonna finish, and you just you just try until you make the decision. And that's something that is a very personal decision. It was very hard. But Turtle's an amazing dog. She's a goofball, but
Yeah. And Carrie just sent me a video this week of Turtle was at her house and she ran her through controls and she got 100%. I mean, she was so
yeah,
good. She
she's
got every
at
single
4
one
years old.
right. And she
Yep,
was so excited.
yep.
And she hasn't done gluten in probably a
Oh,
year at
three
least,
years
3
probably.
years.
I have not
And she
presented gluten to her for 3 years.
it was amazing. I mean, it was. So they remember, but there are at-home service dogs only, service dogs that,
Hmm.
have passed through the gluten and allergen detection and they're able to do it, but they can't do public access.
Yeah,
And, for whatever reason, sometimes they get
that's it.
spooked or,
Yeah, it's
you know,
possible to just have
it's,
an at-home detection
yeah.
dog.
And some people don't want the dog that goes out with them either because they're
Mhm.
it is a lot. It's a lot of work. I mean, I went out to breakfast this morning with Suki and was like, okay, yeah, I gotta have her. Okay, let me bring her mat. And then I'm talking to my friend and we haven't been out to eat for a while. And about halfway through she was kind of begging that she wanted a treat. Not the best behavior of a service dog. We're out with her dog sitter who she loves, so that was also a little bit like that
Hmm.
was a high temptation that she really wanted
It's
to cuddle
hard.
with the dog sitter. So I think it's a challenge, but you're out with a 2-year-old basically.
Yeah,
It's a toddler. Like if you're out with a child, you got to make sure you're taking care of them. And I mean, most times you don't even know she's here, or she's there,
yeah.
but it is a lot
Sometimes
of
though,
work and not everybody
they are
wants to.
sentient beings. Somebody's asking, Hot Senior Pups is asking about my dog now. I think maybe that's my dog or your dog, but Birdie is a 3-year-old chocolate lab. I got her from a breeder. I searched and searched. I knew I wanted a chocolate lab. And there's 3 chocolate females in the litter out of 11. And so those 3 puppies had early neurological stimulation and early scent introduction from 3 days old, day 3 to day 316, or day 3 to day 16. On Birdie's Instagram, gluten sniffing Birdie, there's videos of that. But basically, early neurological stimulation is, well, it's kind of self-explanatory. But the breeder, I paid the breeder to do this with these 3 puppies, and it's just to kind of, as the puppies are growing and maturing and their brains are going through neurogenesis, it's stimulation to their body and their paws to help the brain build resilience. And that's day 3 to day 16. And then also from day 3 to day 16, the puppies had early scent introduction. So each day they were introduced to a different scent, one of them being gluten. And then every week for 2 weeks, or 2 times a week, from week 4 to week 8, they were given a tub of gluten to play with, to imprint to gluten as babies. And then at 7 weeks, 56 days, service dogs are usually tested, temperament tested. I hired a trainer friend of mine to fly here to Minnesota to test these 3 puppies. The whole entire time out of those 3 puppies, I did not want pink girl. I wanted green girl. And I just had it in my head that I was not going to get pink girl. She was just, oh my God, she was wild and just, oh, I just was like, I do not want that puppy. But guess what? She tested way over yellow girl and green girl, and it's Birdie, and I got pink girl.
She's a
And I'm so glad I did. She's
She's a
amazing.
great girl. And I think that is one of the things with puppies. I mean, so you also, as a trainer, you do temperament
I
testing
do.
for people, and that's kind of the recommended path. Not something that I did. I got lucky because I knew probably just enough, and my breeder
Yeah.
let me pick between two dogs. So I got beyond lucky, but I would definitely do stuff completely different. And Suki was not imprinted, and I'm pretty sure had no ENS.
Yeah.
I actually I know I can guarantee that. The breeder said she did some puppy culture stuff, but I don't really think so. So I got super lucky just by a fluke. So I think that's
Yeah.
super.
Suki's a great dog.
That she's a great girl, but on my next one I would for sure make sure to bring, have Carrie go evaluate the puppies, and that's what I would recommend to anybody that's going to be in my position, because it's frankly it's a lot of money, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, and it's a lifetime commitment of the dog. You want to make sure you cut out any variables
Mhm.
possible.
Yeah, for sure. Build
So
the
so
foundation. The foundation is really, really important when you're
yeah.
training a service dog.
Yeah, absolutely,
And I also
absolutely.
want to say just real quickly, the period of socialization ends at 16 weeks. So 4 months old, that window slams shut for socialization. So you have from 8 to 14 weeks, or if you get the puppy at 8 weeks, well, you will get the puppy at 8 weeks, but you want that 0 to 8 weeks to be part of it too. But you have that puppy from 8 to 14 weeks. Sorry, 16 weeks. Sorry, guys. I was glutened yesterday and I'm kind of coming off of some neuro stuff. But so 4 months old, 16 weeks, socialization ends. And after that, if there's any situation or any trigger that elicits fear, anxiety, then we start desensitization and counter conditioning. So that's a really important window. So you only have 16 weeks to really help build a lot of resilience, and
Mhm.
all that is super important as the brain is developing up to 16
And
weeks.
and the thing I didn't realize, socialization is not taking it around people. Socialization is
It can
experiencing,
be.
it can, but it's also
It's not it.
experiencing
Yeah.
everything else. So it's, I just watched a litter of puppies from a really amazing breeder where, she's putting them the hair dryer, the blow dryer,
Oh
because
yeah.
dogs need, the dogs I get need to be groomed. So the dogs, she's having them, they have a licky mat in front of the hair dryer. They're conditioned towards the blow dryer, and,
Yeah.
the vibration of the Dremel for their nails and all those kind of things and different surfaces. And it's so cool to watch that in process. It's really, I think, an amazing thing. Yeah, Nanette said she rescued her puppy at 7 months and he's so reactive. So now she's having to go through, he's not a service dog, but having to go through and do counter conditioning and everything
Yeah.
else. Well, we want to not take up too much of your time today. We're trying to be a little bit more
Quick
quick
with the lives.
with the lives,
So we
because the
can do
last time
more.
the live was super long and
Yeah.
it was great. It's in my highlights under training if you want to watch. It had to upload it as two parts, so we're trying to make this. So I think we've got almost, oh, who certifies dog as gluten detection dog? So there is no service dog certification in the United States. If people tell you there's a certification, that does not
The
exist.
stamp.
So um,
They do have to
oh,
pass the required, like there's public access testing and the home test, and of course the odor test. I failed
mhm,
to mention that before.
mhm,
But yeah,
mhm.
there's no certification, like legal certification for gluten detection or allergen detection or,
Any
cancer
service dog.
detection or any service dog. Right?
Yeah,
You pay for it online, you get your little certificate and their tag. Doesn't mean
yeah,
anything. It's cute, but
yeah.
you pay $100
It's
for
a
nothing.
piece of paper,
Yep.
a piece of paper. Well, one thing that I totally appreciate your expertise, and Kari, you can reach Kari. She put her email in the chat, or she's at Wagon Train. You can follow her here, DM her as well,
Yeah.
and and um and we are also working on together because of all the questions that I get, that she gets, that Dawn at Willow Service Dog gets, to try and put together some things that I hope you're going to be super exciting for you coming out. Carrie and I have been working super hard on some stuff. We're not ready to release it, but stay tuned. If you're not already subscribed for my email, please subscribe to it, my newsletter, because we'll be sending that out as soon as it's ready. That will help you if you're thinking about getting a gluten or allergen detection dog training one, will help set you up for a better success,
Yes.
which I think is super important because I don't want to keep hearing horror stories of somebody buying a 6-month-old puppy that isn't even potty trained and they were sold it as a fully trained service dog. I've gotten those emails. I've been
Terrible.
connecting with DMs with those people, and then they're having to deal with a reactive dog that doesn't know anything, let alone gluten detection.
Yeah.
I do not want that at
And
all.
that's, let
Well,
me just say that one more thing. Um, dogs have several developmental fear periods. The most important one is adolescence. And that
mhm,
starts 7, 8-ish months, maybe give or take, depending on the dog. If the puppy hasn't even gone through adolescence yet and is being sold as a fully trained service dog, that's impossible.
mhm,
I mean, you have to make sure at least the puppy goes through adolescence, 18, 19, 20 months, maybe a little bit longer. Of course, every dog's different. You have to take that into consideration. That's why we say 2 years, because they've fully gone through most of their developmental fear periods. And then you have a dog at 2 years old, that's, really reliable or not. And then, okay, well, it's going to pass public access or she's not.
mhm,
That's why you wait till 2 years
mhm.
old. And
Yeah.
some dogs do pass earlier, but it all depends on the dog. But I would say 2 years. That's your target.
Yeah, yeah. Because I found with Suki, there were, you definitely see a regression. You're like, oh, I was like, oh, she's the smartest dog in the whole world. She's doing great. And it's like teenagers, like kids. And I
Yep.
don't have any kids, but I have plenty of friends that do, where they're like, those kids are just the greatest little 11-year-old. And then all of a sudden they're, 13 and 14, and you're ready to kill them because they don't listen to a thing you say. That's kind of how it is with not to compare dogs to kids, but I think it's
They
similar.
have good
Where all
days
of a
and
sudden
bad
you're
days
like,
too.
that dog just follows. And that's the other thing, is that the dogs aren't, they're dogs. So they can have good days, they can have bad days, they can have days where they don't really want to work, or like Suki's been having issues with her back. It hurts. She doesn't want to do it. I'm not going to force her to do something when she doesn't feel well. Although she did great today. But I think all those things are super important. One question here, Light Shine Bright said, I have severe shellfish allergy as well as nuts and 50 plus other things.
Oh my
Would I benefit
gosh.
from an allergy alert dog? I'm sorry that you have to
Yes.
deal with that. That's really, really rough. Um,
I am not familiar with I wouldn't know how to train a shellfish detection dog. If you're anaphylactic, I'm not sure how that would work, because you would have to have the odor. But again, I'm gluten. But yes, I mean, if
yeah,
it's something that um, you're not anaphylactic to and you could handle it.
yeah,
Nuts. Donna does not. She's not a trainer, but she's training
yeah.
Zoe for nuts. But
She's doing almonds, and then we have another friend who's um, Detective Harley FADD, who's a peanut
yeah,
detection dog. So the way the allergens work is you can train one at a time. So each one you train. So
yeah,
like Donna trains Zoe in almonds, but then now she's training. She's going to start training another allergen because she's got multiple allergies. 50 might be really hard. So
Oh
that all
yeah.
depends. If you go shellfish is your big one, then you would train shellfish. And that'd be a good I'm probably gonna do a live with Dawn from Willow Service, and Dawn does all allergens. She's like the originator of this. So that would be a good question. I know her program's full, it's over full. I talked to her last night and she's like, I don't even have a second in my day. Like she's the nicest person in the world, and she takes on too
Way
many
too much.
people. And then she's like, I added a person, and because I thought one was graduating, but they just kept wanting to stay. So that's how she is. And then she ends up spending, time talking to somebody like me who's already has a
Yes,
graduated dog.
he likes to talk.
So, but
And
she's
that's
a
why
very
I wanted to intern with
amazing.
her too. Another
Yeah.
thing too. Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but so I learned from her, and she's taught me a ton. Like I've learned so much from her.
Yeah.
So she's
She,
amazing. If you can make that live next week, everybody, you should. I'll
yeah.
be at a wedding, not
Yeah.
my own.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna try and do one same time next week. Probably we're gonna talk about
So yeah, ask her about
just
her allergens.
behavior and like equipment and stuff like that too. So, well, I don't want to run this too long, because when it goes over, then
Yeah.
it's a nightmare for me to repost it. But I really want to thank you, Kari. Thank you all for being here and watching. I will be posting this to my feed, and then you can watch it as a replay. If you have other questions, feel free to DM me, DM Kari. Definitely sign up for my newsletter at sukipwd.com. If you want links to, I have a lot of resources on my website about gluten detection and the process. I also have a free checklist, or if you're looking for a trainer. At this point, I recommend Kari and Dawn. Those are my recommendations. Which that's what it is. And Dawn's program is full. Kari does have some openings, so you can get on her agenda, or on her
Yeah.
roster, the spots until they fill up.
Yep.
So
I only have a
so
few.
but stay tuned. We will be releasing hopefully some really cool stuff that will be
Not
really easy.
hopefully we will.
We will, but I said hopefully sooner
Oh
rather
yeah.
than later.
And
It all
hopefully
takes a
everyone thinks
long
it's
time.
cool.
Hopefully you think it's cool and
It
helpful.
will be.
And,
Everyone's going to
and
love it.
I'm excited about it. Kari's excited about it. Everybody that we've shared about it is excited. So
It won't be
I'm really
long.
thankful. I'm thankful for all of you giving up your Saturday evening. And I hope it was helpful. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much, Kari.
Thank you. See you
Take care.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.